It is one of Charleston's oldest jewels in a crown filled with some of the most bucolic places on the planet. And today, it has new leadership taking this historic landmark into the future. Let's welcome Ivey Gibbes, Director of Preservation and Interpretation at Magnolia Plantation and Gardens. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
And congratulations on your role.
Thank you so much.
So you ascended into this position within just a few short years.
Yes.
So how long have you been at Magnolia and what did you start as?
I've been at Magnolia almost 5 years now on staff. I did 2 years of an internship during my undergraduate degree and my master's degree, and then I became a staff member in March of 2021.
It's amazing. And here you are now at the helm of the whole plantation, which is a huge undertaking. So can you tell us a little bit about what it means to carry that torch? It's pretty profound.
Absolutely. The Director of Preservation and Interpretation, the goal for this role is to really be a steward of the heritage of the site, both tangible and intangible, as well as the history of the property and making that accessible to the public.
Yeah, it's one of the most popular places, not just for people who are here from the Lowcountry, but especially for those that are coming to visit. Why is it a place that you would recommend anybody who's coming to South Carolina, Charleston, for the first time needs to see?
We have something for everybody, which I think is really special about our site. We opened in 1871 to the public because of the flowers in our gardens, and that has been drawing people to our property for over 100 years now. But we also have wildlife that is abundant on the property. If you want to come see an alligator, which for us is normal, but for our friends visiting from other places isn't as normal, we have that opportunity for you as well as the history of the property, to learn about what can often be complex or difficult to hear, to come, and we'll meet you where you are on that journey of learning.
And the plantation itself is almost 350 years old.
Yes.
And on the property, when you're talking about some of the cultural, the sensitive cultural history of Magnolia, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. So we don't hide from the fact that Magnolia was a plantation.
Sure.
It began as a rice plantation. The labor was enslaved on this property. We also know that the gardens began being planted and maintained by the enslaved community at Magnolia. And we want to share those stories. We want to give voices to those underrepresented stories and narratives often found here in the South. And we want to make sure that people know their stories and their lives just as much as they know the lives of the family who lived on the property in the big house.
Yeah, and I know that Middleton does something similar, but do you have a roster of the descendants of those enslaved that come on a regular basis, maybe annually, to rejoin their kin and to...
Yeah. So we have a group of people who come back who lived on the property. The cabins at Magnolia were lived in until Hurricane Hugo in 1989. So we have a group of what we call the descendants who come back. In terms of the enslaved, the property burned twice, so we did lose a lot of information and history in that regard, but we have about 537 names over the course of 12 generations. Wow. And we are constantly trying to find new names, learn more about those people and what their life was like on the property.
Very interesting. You yourself have a love for history, so you have a master's.
I do.
And where did you get your master's from?
I got my master's degree from the University of Winchester in England.
In England? Why did you go all the way to England to get your master's in history?
My university, I went to Lander University in the upstate, had a partnership with the University of Winchester, so I spent my junior year there and loved it so much that when it came time to look at master's degrees, I knew I wanted something that wasn't just straight history. I wanted to be able to walk out of my degree and be able to get a job without getting a PhD, and the University of Winchester offered me that. Interesting.
And the history that you were taught for your master's and also for your undergrad, because you were dual, you actually, it sounds like you were hedging your bets, nursing and history,
yes,
right?
I started as nursing and history and realized my passion for history outweighed my passion for nursing.
Your focus now is so very much steeped in American history.
Absolutely.
So where do those two get bridged?
I actually wrote my master's dissertation on the American South and how the Lost Cause movement of the 1920s has perpetuated systemic racism and racial inequality in the United States, which is very topical when I wrote it in 2020. It wasn't where my master's degree was going, but things changed in the world and that's where I ended up. And my professors always encouraged me to focus on the history that I loved, and that was American history. The degree offered me in England the ability to see how cultural heritage across generations that span far beyond the United States are able to compact that into digestible information for people.
Wonderful. What do you think is next for you? I mean, I realize you just assumed this role, but you are one sharp cookie. You are very smart. You know your stuff. Do you want to take this onto an even broader stage eventually, you think?
I would love that. I'm always open to seeing where things lead. My path at Magnolia has not been straight. I've been fortunate to be in many different roles in many different departments, which I love, and I'm excited to see what this role can offer me at Magnolia, and who knows what's coming next.
And what do you hope for people to come away with you at the helm and coming to visit Magnolia Plantation? What do you hope people leave with after they've come for a visit?
Our hope and my hope is that people are walking away feeling empowered with the knowledge that they've gained, knowing that we met them where they were. So we don't want anyone to feel like we forced information on them, or that we took, aside. The history is the history. So our hope is to present an unbiased, realistic, factual, but fun way to share this information with the public.
Ivey, congratulations again.
Thank you.
I highly recommend anyone who's not been to Magnolia Plantation to please do go. You would definitely do yourself a service if you did. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be back after this.